Hello and welcome to this CNBC-TV18 special. I'm Timsi Jaipuria. The Directorate General of GST Intelligence has detected the highest ever number of tax evasion cases, totaling approximately 6,084 cases involving over 2 lakh crore rupees of GST which was evaded in FY24. According to the annual report of the DGGI, which is the Central Investigation and Anti-Evasion arm of GST wings, the sector with the highest evasion were online gaming, banking, financial services and insurance and services, followed by iron, copper, scrap and alloys and goods. The evasion detected in FY24 is double of over 1 lakh crore rupees, which was reported in FY23, which involved about 4,872 cases. Joining us is Principal DG, who heads DGGI, Anil Kumar Gupta, in an exit interview as he demits his office today. A very warm welcome, sir. To begin with, let me ask you, monitoring and enforcement has played a critical role in the success of GST in India. And an interesting case that came to the fore was that of Infosys. It was in July when DGGI issued a pre-show cause notice to Infosys for alleged evasion of over 32,000 crore rupees of IGST between July 2017 till FY 2022, out of which 3,898 crore worth notice for FY18 was withdrawn. So where are we currently on this demand?
The intelligence and investigating arm of any organization, CBIC like DGI, plays a very important and crucial role in ensuring the compliance of GST law, which is the mandate and role of DGGI, and also in that process to check black money. As regards your question about Infosys, yes, Infosys is a long story. In fact, DGA was investigating this case since 2020. And in between, somewhere towards the beginning of this current financial year, about February, March, we came to know that state GST is also investigating into this case. And as per the mandate of the GST Council, that when multiple agencies are investigating a same taxpayer, in that process, we transferred the case to state GST authorities in April or so. But later on, there was some High Court matter in Karnataka High Court where Infosys has challenged the authority of the state GST authorities, and in that process there was a dialogue between the state and the center, and again this case came back to us towards the end of July 2024. But before that, state GST authorities had already issued a DRC-01A, which is a pre-show cause notice to Infosys of about 32,000 crore or so. But when the case came to us, we issued the DRC-01 since we are investigating that case. And the issue in brief is of import of services made by Infosys from their branch offices for execution of their export orders. So the matter as stands, of course, now for the remaining years from financial year 2018-19 onward, the issue is under examinations because the circular which Infosys claims that they're entitled to it, Circular 210 of GST Council, which was issued recently after the GST Council meeting in June 23. That is the issue in brief. Whether that.
So where are we currently on this demand?
Infosys is to file a reply. Infosys is yet to file a reply for this remaining 4 years. Once they file the reply, only then we will examine, because it's a pre-show cause notice. In the GST law, for issuing a show cause notice, you issue a pre-show cause notice and then give an opportunity to the company or the taxpayer to file a reply. Once the Infosys files the reply, we will examine, then accordingly decide on the matter.
So recently, sources claim that the government is considering amendments in the GST Circular 210, which talks on valuation of supply of services import by a related party where recipient is eligible to full ITC. To make it simpler, it's correct for the correction of the interpretation, this circular was issued. It is understood from sources that this circular could be tweaked further to give a relief for Infosys. Do you think this is in offing?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to say what is in offing and what is in the pipeline because all such decisions are taken by GST Council, apex decision-making body. What I can say only is that we have suggested, we have also made a reference to the board, our policy wing, giving certain difficulties and implications of Circular 210, which are under examination in the board, and once a call is taken, the future course of action of that circular will be decided.
So what do you think can be actually done to give relief to Infosys? Is there an intent within the government to do so, or you think that the case is strong enough and government should pursue the case towards plugging this leakage?
No, this question has two arms. First is whether our case is strong or not. That I will say we only book cases which are legally sustainable and as per the GST law prevalent at that time. So whatever DGI has done, it is as per law. There is nothing wrong in that. The second aspect is whether government intends to do any relief to Infosys. That is up to the government. Government is considering weighing all pros and cons, and Infosys is a premier IT company of India. Whether such transactions need to be taxed or not taxed, that is the prerogative of the government.
Sir, coming to the insurance services, recently notices were sent to as many as 20 general insurance companies operating in SEZ units for alleged evasion of about 20,000 crore rupees as unpaid dues for services furnished before the employees of industrial units within these zones and their families. Companies such as HDFC Ergo General Insurance, Star Health and Allied Insurance, Cholamandalam, MS General Insurance, etc. They were issued notices for IGST dues alleging misuse of provisions that exempt certain SEZ services under Section 16 of the IGST Act.
Yes, basically these are the supplies which insurance companies have made to the units located in SEZs, and normally a supply to SEZ is exempted, and that is what the insurance companies have taken the benefit. But however, when we found and went into details investigation of these insurance companies, we found these were not actually supplies to the SEZ units by the insurance company. It was in fact a supply for ensuring the life of the employees and their families, employees of the SEZ units and their family, which is not a supply per se to the SEZ unit, which is exempt. So this is clearly a taxable supply for which insurance companies are liable to pay. And let me place on record that some of them insurance companies are already paying tax on GST on this kind of a supply. And we also found that some of the insurance companies, while paying in one case, were not paying in another case. So this is as per the GST law. It is a clearly taxable supply, and for which we have our Mumbai Zonal Unit has investigated cases and issued show cause notice to various insurance companies.
So we saw the GST Council setting a lot of pending issues. They have settled, for example, for the insurance sector only. 53rd GST Council settled the cases where GST Council has taken note of the industry representations and clarified in favor of the insurance sector with respect to co-insurance, reinsurance, wreck and salvage, etc. Is this matter of IGST dues from the SEZ units covered in this particular clarity, or this is separate from what came in the GST Council?
No, what 53rd GST Council meeting and the circulars thereafter had clarified, this current issue of supplies to SEZ is not covered under those clarification and was not the subject matter of discussion for those issues which were before the board or the GST Council. This is a separate issue, independent issue, which is not covered in those clarifications. The cases of DGI which were also made against all those insurance sectors, co-insurance, reinsurance, those were taxable supplies as per the existing prevalent GST law applicable at that time. Now, it is a privilege of the government to exempt certain supplies and keeping in view the representations of trade and bodies and industries. So that is why the council in its wisdom and has exempted the supplies of co-insurance or reinsurance.
Online gaming is a sector which is yet to get relief. Further, as your report mentioned, that it is the largest GST evasion sector from the illegal offshore betting and gambling platforms. That is where the exact leakage is happening that you have highlighted in your annual report. Despite the amendments in the GST law, this is happening. While the local industry has complied with the new amendments, enforcement on offshore remains a challenge. How does DGGI propose to tackle this issue?
If you recall, online gaming has been, online real money gaming, especially domestic, has been a subject matter of litigation and dispute for quite some time. And before this amendment last year, which on the basis of the recommendation of GST Council were brought with effect from 1st of October 2023, whereby making it very, very clear that this online real gaming is taxable as actionable claims at the rate of 28%, and the value was also defined as gross revenue. That made the things clear, but before that, for the past period, DGI has investigated about 100 odd cases, and some 10-15 more cases are under investigation, where we have issued demands of over 1 lakh crore, and all those issues are now before the Honorable Supreme Court, and all those petitions have been clubbed together. But by bringing clarity and transparency in the online gaming taxability since October 2023, the revenue of the government has increased 4 to 5 times. Earlier we were collecting about 200 to 250 crores per month. Now roughly about 1300 to 1500 crores we are collecting. And by and large, all online real money gaming companies in existence in India are complying with the law, which was amended and brought with clarity last year. But as far as your second part of the question, which is offshore online gaming, they were, as per the amendment, they were also required, once they are providing any taxable services in India, they were also required to take registration, simple registration in India. But none of the offshore gaming companies have taken registration so far. It's about a year now since this amendment came, and it's a big challenge for us to really investigate all those offshore gaming company. It's a big menace. It's besides a taxation issue, a revenue issue, which we are not able to collect. It's a social issue also, because the Indian citizens and consumers, they do not know whether they are playing on a legal platform or illegal platform. It has many implications, and for which we feel multi-agencies cooperation and interaction is required by various agencies to tackle this menace, especially MATI, I4C, ED. Other ED is also investigating few cases of online gaming. We are also investigating offshore. We have taken few steps. We have engaged with gaming associations in India, taken their viewpoint, and we are in touch with them. And similarly, we are taking action against offshore gaming identities also by way of blocking their URLs and APIs. Yes.
So DGGI in its annual report also flagged that online money gaming is a high-risk industry for tax evasion, money laundering, and as you mentioned, that cyber fraud, juvenile delinquency, etc., various socio-economic issues are attached to this sector. And as you mentioned, that blocking of the websites is also part of the action. Recently, you recommended to block 167 websites and called for an interdepartmental committee with representatives from ED, RBI, etc. Consumer Affairs Department was also part of it. You said that this may be set up. Has this committee been set up?
Yeah, this offshore online gaming issue has been discussed in many platforms and forums in the past 1 year or so. With MATI, we are in our internal meetings with MATI, I4C, DOT, even this Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, CAB, which is the body coordinating various law enforcement agencies. So in those meetings, this issue has been on the agenda, and discussions have taken place, and we are hopeful that in the times to come, we'll find a way out to tackle this issue. But it is no single agency. What I want to emphasize is that no single agency can tackle this issue because it's multifarious issues, and we are groping in the dark because these offshore gaming companies are not compliant, and they keep on changing their URLs, domains very fast. We block 10, they come up with 100 more. So it's a challenging thing.
So does DGGI also engage with industry or the industry associations to seek inputs to improve the understanding on the new age emerging sectors such as gaming?
Yeah, we have been very, very open and transparent and on many issues, especially in gaming. We have been engaged with all this Gaming Federation Association in India. We had one meeting in November 23 and followed by another meeting in April 24, where we threadbare discussed with the representatives of all the gaming federations in India about the challenges, issues they face, and we sought their cooperation, and they have been cooperating with us in supplying a lot of information. So we are working together as far as gaming industry is concerned. But we are open. What I would like to say that we have changed our approach during the last 1 year or so. We have been engaging with other associations also, like on foreign airlines, foreign shipping lines, insurance sector, all those associations.
The tax demands that have been issued by DGGI have been in the news recently to multiple sectors like insurance, foreign airlines, shipping lines, online gaming, etc. How is DGGI dealing with the industry-wide issues compared to the issues with the individual companies or taxpayers?
What I would say that the government by itself is engaging with all trade, industry and association, and the government itself is trying hard to bring transparency and clarity on all these issues. And of course, what is the mandate of DGI? DGI is to ensure compliance of GST law as per the mandate, and we are mandated to bring out whatever lacunas or pitfalls or which the taxpayers by intention or unintentional are using to not pay the appropriate proper tax which is payable.
Harassment is a major issue or an allegation that investigating agencies like you often face. What is your comment on that?
During last 1 year or so, we have done a lot of introspection, and we are very harsh on any kind of any extortion or harassment done by our officers, and we have strengthened our grievance redressal mechanism within the DGI, and we have issued our guidelines for investigation. We were the first agency to issue guidelines for investigation, keeping in view the ease of doing business, so that the genuine taxpayers are not put at any inconvenience while doing investigation.
Which are the sectors where it becomes extremely difficult for DGGI to investigate the matters? Because one sector is how taxpayers feel when they receive a notice and during the investigations. The other side is what are the difficulties and the challenges that DGGI face, especially some of the sectors, if you could name, where it becomes very difficult for DGGI to investigate the matters, where probably the industry is not cooperating.
Let me tell you, the main challenges which we face is two sorts. One is the emerging this digital transaction and digital economy. These are the emerging sectors in which NFT, cyber, cryptocurrency, banking and financial service, where there is a lot of, I would say, taxpayers are not really aware what is what are the transactions where tax is payable. So, and the footprint of all these transactions is not easily available in any form in the sense of a paper or a transaction. So most of the information in such cases is stored in cloud and all that. So it becomes quite challenging both for us and for the taxpayers also, because he may not be aware that some transaction is taxable and we under the GST law fail, and it's difficult to detect these kinds of transactions. And second, of course, is traditional sectors like pan masala, gutka, iron and steel, timber, plywood. Those are the sectors where clandestine removal is clandestine supply chain is rampant, despite GST being enforced for last 7 years or so. There has not been much change between the pre-GST era and the post-GST era, because these goods are ultimately consumed by the consumers. So there also, because we find challenge, because now people are not keeping any records of those transactions.
Which are the top 3 states from where we have seen maximum evasion from? Also on GST search and raids, etc. Does your organization see a sudden spike in action during the elections time? If you could throw some light.
Yeah, in fact, all law enforcement agencies, including DGI, follows the guidelines of the Election Commission of India, which are put in force when the elections are declared, whether general election for India or states like now Haryana and J&K are in election. So we do coordinate with other agencies for detection of cases, especially cash, etc. In our case, what I find generally our impression is that during election days, the goods which are freebies or which are distributed to the voters to fleece the voters, the clandestine supply of those goods do surge during the election periods. They may be fast-moving consumer goods, they may be some other domestic items, or things which for which we do make cases during election, but it's difficult to say which are the states which are leading and not leading in this kind of work.
For the future DGGI, as you demit your office today, which sectors do you think need to be on the radar where agency has not looked into so far? Or what will be your handover? What would it look like for the new upcoming DG?
I'm sure in future also the command of DGI, whosoever occupies this command, he will carry on the flag of DGI higher, and we will keep on looking into all the sectors which are prone to evasion, and even the emerging sectors which may come in future in notice.
So that was Anil Kumar Gupta talking to us about the ongoing investigation cases by the DGGI. And yes, a clear message for the upcoming DG to look into a lot of sectors, including cryptocurrencies, a lot of transactions which still remain out of the radar of the GST investigation arm, including the online transactions. Banking and insurance services still one of the sectors which is highly prone for the GST leakages, and much more. Many thanks for joining us.